Hi, this is Chef William Poole with When Chocolates in Denver. If you know me at all, you know that I love, love, love working with chocolate. What we're going to create today is a really beautiful ganache, and we're going to dip some candied fruit and some candied ginger into this so that you can enjoy a little tasty treat whenever you like. Let's begin with making the ganache. We're going to heat up some heavy cream, and we've got a ratio of 1 pound of heavy cream to 1 pound of chocolate. This is going to assure that you've got a ganache that's going to set up without being too runny. We've got the cream at a full rolling boil. There's a couple reasons that we're going to do this. We're going to take this off the heat for just a second. You want to get your cream up to a rolling boil because it's going to repasteurize the cream and make it a little bit safer so that you can have this out at room temperature for a little while. And assure the fact that this is hot enough to heat the chocolate that you're about to melt. So we're going to take this off the heat. Another step that you want to remember is never, never, never put full rolling boil heavy cream over your chocolate. What can happen, chocolate is basically a ratio of solids and fats. Too hot a cream will melt or separate all of your chocolate. So we're going to delicately put this on top of here. Beautiful. Set this off and turn off the heat. And now we can begin to stir the ganache. I'm just going to move this forward just a little bit. I always start in the middle, small, small circles, and then work outward. Make sure that the bowl, there's nothing sticking to the bottom of the bowl, and then just tiny circles. Just work really quickly. The reason that I'm doing this is you want to melt the chocolate and make sure that the heavy cream's getting in here and you're going to get a homogeneous product. But you don't want to incorporate any air into this. We're not whipping this. We're actually just stirring just to make sure that this is fully incorporated and all those little chunks of chocolate are set and melted. So we're just going to continue to stir. And what's going to see in the middle here, just a second, is this beautiful thing happens. Stir it a little bit more. As you can see, it's starting to come through just a little bit more, but the more that hot heavy cream melts all of that chocolate, this is where your beautiful fillings come in. See all this stuff coming through? This is where the magic happens. This is absolutely incredible. What I like to do with this sometimes, if you're making truffle fillings or you're working with the dip fruit that we're about to work with, is you can put maybe a shot of alcohol of choice in here. I mean, if you like absinthe or rum or some bourbon, you can do that too, or maybe a couple sprinkles or a pinch of cinnamon or maybe some nutmeg. You can put whatever you like into this. So that kind of just helps out and bolsters the flavor of whatever you're working with. As soon as we're done with this ganache, and we want to make sure that there's no chunks, all of your heavy cream that we just boiled and poured into it is fully incorporated, we can get ready and start staging to dip our fruit. And today we're going to be working with some apricots, some figs, some orange zest, and some Korean cut ginger. All right, we've got our ganache made and we're ready to dip our fruit. Let's start with some apricots, and there's a trick to doing this. What I like to do is whenever we dip is go ahead and scrape the bottom so there's a lot less on the bottom to set up and just place really nicely. We're going to do a couple lines of each of these, each of the fruits that we're doing today. So we've got some apricots. You see all that beautiful glossy ganache on top of there. What's going to happen is we're going to put this into the fridge. As soon as we're done dipping all the fruits, they're going to need some time to set up. But by scraping the bottom on them, they'll plate up a lot easier so that you don't have such a mess with all of your friends and all of your party action. Let's move on to the ginger. This is one of my personal things. Ginger is such a beautiful, pungent thing. And when you pair it up with the chocolate, it just makes for a beautiful combination. Let's get a couple of these guys in here. We'll move on to the orange sticks. These are amazing too. They're so beautifully delicate and such a really good flavor when it's paired with chocolate. That's such a beautiful classic combination, is orange and chocolate together. And again, scrape the bottom of that, set that right in there. Scrape the bottom each time. Just makes for a nicer finish. Let's do that, and let's do some of these beautiful figs too. I like to round these guys out. These are dried mission figs, and just set them straight down. Dip them in the ganache, scrape that bottom a little bit. Boom, beautiful. Let's do a couple more, and we're ready to get these into the fridge. Nicely done. Before we put these into the fridge, we're going to give some consideration to putting some different aromatics on top of these just to spice it up a little bit, and I do mean that literally. First thing we're going to do is a little bit of rosemary. Most people don't think that chocolate and rosemary go together because it's a savory and sweet combination, and that's just not the case. What you can do is take a little bit of dried rosemary. You can just put a little bit of sprinkle on each one of those apricots. We're just going to do 5 of those. We've also got a little bit of star anise. Now you don't need much of this. You just need a little pinch, little sprinkle, just on each one. Now a little bit goes a long way with things that are very pungent, such as ground ginger or cinnamons. What we're about to do too is I've got these orange sticks. Let's put on a little bit of cayenne, which is a little bit of heat action. Now you want to tell your guests that you've got some cayenne in here because it's not a good surprise to come into. Something else, especially after dealing with any chili oils or especially dried chilies, make sure you wash your hands and anything that you touch along your way so that you don't contaminate anything along the way. Let's get these into the fridge. We've just taken these out of the refrigerator. They've had about 15-20 minutes time to set up. You can go ahead and now just take these off individually, and you can line them up however you want to. I'm kind of obsessive compulsive, so I like to have nice lines of things. And again, any of the aromatics that you put on here that have spices or chili powders, be sure to inform your guests before they put these into their mouths. So we've got these all plated up and ready to go for our little party this afternoon. I want to thank you so much for watching. Check out my other videos. This is Chef William Poole with When Chocolate's in Denver, and thanks for watching.